Hello and welcome back to module 1.1. This is the personal branding module. And in this module, you're going to discover why it's important to start thinking of yourself as a brand, how building a personal brand can positively impact your business, what steps you can take to start proactively building your personal brand. So let's jump straight into it. What is a personal brand? Now, a personal brand is the public image and perception of an individual. So you as an individual, whether you know it or not, you have your own personal brand. It's how people in the outside world perceive you based on how you package yourself in terms of who you are, what you do, and why you're unique. So we're talking about your signature style. We're talking about how you let people know why they should take an interest in what you do. Building a personal brand is all about building your circle of influence. It's about building an audience. It's about being known for something in particular. For example, having a particular skill, a quality, or even just representing a lifestyle that people want. Let's have a look at some well-known personal brands. Okay, so I'm going to go for a few people that you may or may not know, but the whole point is they have one specific thing in common, and you'll see that. So let's start with Richard Branson. We all know who Richard Branson is. He is one of the biggest icons in entrepreneurship that I personally can think of. And he is an example of someone who really is the face of his own brand. Now, based on that, he's able to come up with a new venture. And just because it's him, he's got far more chance of being successful than somebody else who's just starting from scratch. He's got that leverage there. He's built a personal brand. People know what to expect from a Richard Branson venture, and people just gravitate to him because of who he is and what his brand stands for. You've got Kat Von D. You may or may not have heard of her. She is a tattoo artist, and she's also in partnership with a major cosmetic brand called MAC with her own makeup line. And she started off as a tattoo artist and a TV show called Miami Ink, and that's where she rose to fame and built her following. And the point of it is, she's built a following based on her personal brand. You can see she's very unique in her appearance, and she's got a following who just of people who just like her for her. So no matter what she does, people are going to be on board, and the personal brand helps her sell her own product. Floyd Mayweather, he is not only an athlete, a champion boxer, but also a tremendous example of personal branding in effect. His personal branding is, some people love to love him, some people love to hate him. But the main thing is he attracts attention based on his persona. He has a persona that people don't necessarily like, but it's entertaining. And because of that, he's able to sell his own fights. So he actually promotes his own fights, and the box office companies pay him a tremendous amount of money because he's able to leverage that personal brand and get people interested in the fight. So he could be fighting, someone that's relatively unknown, but because it's a Floyd Mayweather fight, because it's a Floyd Mayweather promotion, it gets that attention. David Beckham, he's another one. He's just an overall likable character in the world of sport, and no matter what he does, he'll always gain attention. He's got sponsorships and partnerships with fashion brands, aftershaves, men's products like Gillette, and so on. Because of that personal brand, he just attracts opportunity. So that's another key thing. With a strong personal brand, you get to attract opportunity. Moving on, Kim Kardashian, probably known most for breaking the internet, amongst other things. She's also an entrepreneur. She has co-founded a business called Dash. It's quite well known in the United States, and she leverages her personal brand to get the audience she needs to support that business. So amongst making money from TV shows, she actually has her own business, And people know about it because of the Kardashian TV show. So that's another powerful example of how personal branding works. Gary Vaynerchuk, one of my favorite entrepreneurs, one of my favorite business minds in entrepreneurship. He started a YouTube channel called Wine Library TV. So he started off building his authority as a wine expert. So he actually worked for his dad's wine business, and built it to a successful business, and part of that was attributed to Wine Library TV. So if you look up Gary Vaynerchuk and his story, you'll see that he created a personal brand by becoming a content creator and an authority on the subject of wine, and then he moved on to creating his own media company called VaynerMedia. So that's just another example of how you can create an opportunity by becoming known for something, becoming that go-to person for a specific thing. So what do all these personal brands have in common? Personality, their own unique quirks, charisma, and most of all, influence. It's all about building influence and building an audience. Is personal branding for everyone? Everyone has a personal brand, whether you know it or not. Okay, but how you manage your personal brand affects how you're viewed in social circles, in business, in the workplace, and even your own family. So for example, if you're always the person who is late to family functions, you're the latecomer. That's your personal brand. If you're the person who's really good at fixing things around the house, you're good at DIY, you're good at solving problems, you're the go-to person, as you know, the person who can just fix everything. Right? That's your personal brand. So your job is to show people what your personal brand is all about, what your skill set is, what makes you unique, and what makes you valuable to other people. And you have to communicate that in a way that will allow you to build an audience of people who are interested in what you have to offer as a business. Now, why is a personal brand important? Personal branding is important for the same reason people ask for references when you fill out a job application. People want to get a sense of what they can expect from you before they put their trust in you. So before money even exchanges hands, they want to know what they're getting, what you're about. Now, and in the digital age, people will Google you. Now, they will Google you. If someone were to Google you right now, think about this. I want you to think about this for a second. If someone was to Google you right now, what would they find? Would they find lots of interviews or videos of you speaking at speaking engagements? Would they find pictures of you doing charity work or doing some great work with your customers? Or would they find pictures or videos of you drunk at the party? Now, the better you are at presenting yourself in a positive light and as a thought leader or authority or tastemaker, as some people call it in your industry, the stronger your personal brand will be. So you've got to be really intentional about your personal brand. Now, personal branding is about being really intentional about your reputation, how you're perceived, not only in the world, but on the internet as well. So your online presence, you have to really be intentional about what goes on online. Or if there's any mention of you or your company on the internet, you've got to be intentional about how it comes across. So it's super important because with so much competition out there, there are so many other people, so many other brands that customers can go to find what you're offering. And it may be cheaper or faster or better, in fact. But the main thing is people work with people. They want to work with people, not brands. Okay, remember that. So they like to work with people they know, like, and trust. We'll talk about that in a moment. As I've just said, while your competition can undercut you or do things better or faster, you have a better chance of attracting the right kind of clientele that you need by being the best you, putting your best foot forward. Okay, and you do that by connecting with people on a personal level. And as I mentioned before, you've probably heard the saying, people buy from those they know, like, and trust. So when you get serious about developing your personal brand, you'll not only develop as a person as an individual, but you attract a tribe of people who buy into your leadership, your vision, your lifestyle, and the value that you offer as a resource. So this scores massive points in the know, like, and trust factor. Most business owners only they get people to know them, but they don't intentionally get people to like them and trust them. What you want to do is get in this sweet spot of the know, like, and trust circle. So you do that by inspiring, entertaining, and educating people, communicating your value, being a valuable resource. Always remember, it's all about being a valuable resource. So think of how you can be of value to your ideal customers. Let's talk about how you can establish and maintain a personal brand. We're going to go through the steps really quickly. So the first step is to visualize. How do you want to show up in the world? So you've got to kind of use your imagination, picture in your head how you want to show up. What kind of work do you want to do? How do you want to be perceived? Even as specific as how you are going to dress and what colors you're going to be wearing. What kind of visual style are you going to be putting out there? You need to go as deep as that so you can kind of reverse engineer it and make it a reality, and just take action. So number 2 is defining who you are, what you represent, and how you'd like to be perceived. So that involves getting clear on your strengths, your skill set, your vision, meaning the difference you want to make in the world, your personality, and it even helps to write a mission statement. So you write a mission statement to get clear on what your mission is for your business and for your brand, the impact you want to leave behind for your customers. Number 3, develop your visual branding. So we talked about visual branding briefly in the previous module. It is very important. It's not the be all and end all of branding, but it is very important because it helps you to actually build familiarity, which we'll talk about later. But it's about making sure you have a good, memorable logo and brand identity. So your brand identity includes your fonts, your color scheme, your textures and the patterns, that kind of stuff. Your wardrobe, your clothing has to represent your style visually as well. And it's also a great idea to invest in professional photography. We talk about that in another module where we talk about developing visual identities, but it's very important to have professional photography if you want to take your personal brand seriously. Number 4 is to become a content creator. You don't want to just consume content. You don't just want to be commenting on people's blogs, liking pictures on Facebook or Instagram. You want to become a creator where you have your own take on things and you let people know your opinion on things and become a thought leader. And because you're doing that, you're now building an audience and you're building a community of people who will be interested in what you have to offer. So you do that by building an email list or creating a blog or a video series on YouTube or even a podcast, something that you do on a regular basis that builds an audience. Number 5 is to give. So give value, be kind. When I say give, I'm talking about sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your expertise freely before money even exchanges hands. Right? Without any expectations, and people will actually love you for it. They'll gravitate towards you, and it's all about becoming that invaluable resource, as I mentioned before. Secondly, within that is to promote and support others. So don't just talk about yourself, talk about the successes of your clients, the people that you've worked with, and share their stories as well, because people love that kind of stuff. They'd like to know that you're a person that's worth working with. You're a person who gives back, and someone who doesn't just care about themselves, and that's really important. Number 6 is to use a custom branded email address. Why? Because it looks far more professional, and custom domains are associated with more established brands. Perception is reality, so you've got to that's what people have to judge you on the first time they are exposed to your brand. So for example, what looks more professional to you? yourbusiness@gmail.com versus info@yourbusiness.com, or something with your business domain at the end of it, right? So think about that. Don't use Gmail, Yahoo, or Hotmail for your business. It's far more professional to use your own custom domain. And another quick tip is to create an email signature pointing people to where they can find out more about what you're doing and where to connect with you online. So include details of where they can follow you on social media, your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and maybe a landing page that links to where you can get them to subscribe to your email list. We talk a lot more in depth about building email lists and things of that nature in future modules, but just wanted to plant the seed there. You've got to think about creating opportunities where people can connect with you, and that's what really separates the pros from the amateurs. Number 7 is to collaborate and form strategic partnerships. So we're talking about guest appearances on other people's blogs, appearing on other people's YouTube channels or podcasts or radio shows, basically connecting with other influencers and tapping into other people's audiences, and that will help you to grow your audience far quicker than if you were to do it on your own. Number 8 is to share social proof. So don't toot your own horn, let others do it for you. Third-party endorsement is far more powerful than self-recommendation. So share testimonials and case studies of your previous clients. Show how you've actually helped other people. And another thing to remember is that people actually conform to the actions of others. So if everyone else is doing it, it must be okay. So that's why we use social proof, and and there is a real big psychological impact of using social proof when it comes to building your brand. So I'm just going to give you one quick example. Imagine a nightclub on a Friday night. Now, the reason why a lot of club owners let people queue outside for long periods of time is because on the outside, it lets people who aren't going to that club, passers-by, people who are driving by or walking by, they look at that long queue and they just think, wow, something's going on over there. It's a really big club night. I wonder who is going to be playing tonight. So they use that as social proof. So because the line is really long, they've got people waiting outside, they're basically using those people to show people that, guess what? Our club is packed. There is a buzz around this club and we want people to come in. It's as simple as that. So because people see it, they see other people queuing up, they want some of the action too. So the same goes with using social proof in your branding. If you show a long list of testimonials and you show the successes that your customers that have had based on their experiences with your product or service. So if they've got a really great result because of you, you need to show that to people. And the more you can show that, the more customers you'll get, the more of an audience you'll build. Moving on to the last one, wear it out. Wearing colors within your color palette adds tremendous value to your brand because it helps you boost brand recognition. Okay, so it helps you boost your brand recognition. So let's say, for example, you're filming videos or taking pictures for promotional content, and you consistently wear clothes that match your brand colors, as well as include furniture or on-screen props in those colors. You'll quickly train your viewers to think about your brand every time they see those colors. Now, this is a super powerful tactic and is one of the secrets to developing a really strong visual brand and getting that brand recognition. So, for example, if you look at things like Tiffany blue, that's why people say Tiffany blue, or virgin red, or cake box yellow. So, with that being said, we're going to go for a quick review. So what we've talked about the image you project as an individual and how it sets expectations for your customers in business. So your personal brand is a reflection of what to expect when people do business with you. Establishing your brand starts with visualization. So you can reverse engineer what you visualize and turn it into reality. Establish yourself as an authority and work on your online presence by becoming a content creator. That is key. So that means starting your own podcast or your own video series or your own blog. It doesn't matter what you do, but it's all about connecting with an audience, building an audience and providing value. Just remember that. And you've got to do that on a consistent basis. Work on your visual identity by pairing up with a graphic designer and photographer. I didn't really stress the importance of a graphic designer, but it's definitely important to do that and invest in professional photography, because you never know when you're going to need to send off press shots. Collaborate with others to expand your reach. So that means joining forces with other content creators, so people who own their own blogs or people who have their own podcasts or radio shows or video channels. Use that to leverage their audiences to build your own much faster. And finally, a strong personal brand will help you build a tribe of supporters who are interested in what you have to offer as a business owner. So it's all about building that tribe of people who identify with your values and your mindset and your lifestyle. So you already have a set of people to promote your business to. It's as simple as that. So no matter what business venture you go into, if you've got a strong personal brand, you can always transition much easier to and make different products or services and direct it to your audience. So with that being said, that's all I have for you in this particular module. Congratulations, you've successfully completed module 1.1, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.